Well, this is going to be kind of a weird video, but I decided I should probably put this out anyway, just to show my review, I guess, of Resident Evil 3 Remake. Obviously came out a few days ago, and I've been playing it ever since, and I'd just like to give out my opinion on this game and see just if this holds up to the previous year's remake, which was Resident Evil 2 Remake, obviously. So my opinions on this game have kind of bounced over the past week this game has came out, and it just feels, I don't know, so a lot of people are saying it's too short, a lot of people are saying it's kind of washed out, to be honest, and I can kind of see where they're coming from with this opinion that they have, because Resident Evil 2 Remake, it was a bit of a long game if you had to go through like the four scenarios, like with Leon A, Leon B, then Claire A, then Claire B. A lot of content there. This game just feels like you can only play through it once, and you've pretty much experienced most of the game. So there's really a lack of replayability there, and I just don't know what to say about this. I mean, I enjoy my experience playing through the game, but I feel like this game probably should have had more time in the oven, to be honest. And I just feel like the development team that made this game just kind of made it feel outsourced. But that's just me. I guess we'll go into specifics about exactly what this game is. So you can complete this game within roughly 4 to 5 hours. That was my first playthrough, and you know, I played through the game twice so far. I'm trying to go through a third playthrough, but right now it just kind of feels a bit, I don't know, grueling. Not really though, but you know. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, this game is very kind of easy to complete because you never feel like you're under a lot of stress. Because I never had the time where I ran out of ammo. Like, you get a lot of ammo, especially a lot of save rooms, to the point where it gets ridiculous. And for me, honestly, that just feels it's kind of throwing away the survival horror aspect that these games have tried to be relevant to over the past 24 years. I mean, an exception to like Resident Evil 4 through 6, which felt more action-y. Speaking of action, this game definitely seems to be more kind of towards that whole aspect. Not that that's a bad thing for this game. You know, it's kind of refreshing to see that it's not as action-y as Resident Evil 4. It's kind of in the middle. And that's kind of the good balance that this game has. Obviously, it was good with 2 as well, but there wasn't as much action and as it was in this game. But I mean, that's just kind of my opinion. You know, everyone's got their own opinions, and you know. Also, I guess we should probably talk about Nemesis, which I honestly feel like he was a bit underused. And a lot of people think so as well, because... And he was also kind of disappointing, because when I first saw the design, way back in December, when the box art was leaked and everything, and I actually thought he looked really cool, because this is the first time his design has ever been, like reimagined. Because all throughout, ever since the release of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the original... his design has always been the same in everything he's shown up in, which kind of sucks. I kind of wanted to see him change, even though I'm not really sure why it would change. And a lot of people joke about it like he's wearing a trash bag, and, you know, to be honest, yeah, he kind of does look like he's wearing a trash bag, but it kind of gives him the more organic feel, because, you know, it seems more realistically of what a bioweapon in real life would look like. And I kind of like that about Nemesis. And the thing is, though, we don't get to see this much of that version of Nemesis, because I was hoping for Nemesis to be like Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 Remake, where he would just be this presence that would just follow you wherever you went, patrol the streets, and you just can't get away from him easily. And when I played the demo for the first time, I was hoping it would be more like that, where you just like follow you everywhere, and he seemed a lot more deadlier than Mr. X, because, you know, he could like jump in front of you and grab you if you got too far away, but you don't get to see that many parts of him chasing you. All of it is pretty much just linear, which is the main problem that this game has. Like, this is probably one of the biggest problems that I have with this game, is that they should have made his character just a whole lot more something to it. But I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people have that same opinion as well, and this character, I just wish there was more to him. He's literally been resorted to a boss. He's been resorted to a William Birkin character from Resident Evil 2 Remake. And yeah, like, he's like William Birkin in the way that he like changes so drastically. In the original, most of the game, he's just like the basic tyrant. Obviously, he changes to Type 2, which was in the original just him without his restrictor on. Or I think they're called the restrictors, I don't know. It's the thing that allows them to not mutate. It's supposed to have them stay in their normal form. Yeah, Resident Evil nerd over here. But all I'm saying is that I feel like he mutated way too fast in this game, and I wish we had more parts that he would follow us around in, because yeah, he's literally just a more deadlier Mr. X. I mean, maybe they thought of that, and that's why they had him mutate so like early into the game. But I just kind of wish we'd see more of the normal Nemesis that we've seen being marketed so far. And after he mutates, he's just a boss fight. That's it. He's just a boss. There's nothing else to it. And honestly, it just feels it's disappointing, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I can really put all this game into. It's just disappointing. Now, moving away from Nemesis, we also have Jill. I guess we'll talk about her. Some people have said that she's kind of moody and not kind of negative towards everything. But, you know, I don't really think that about her. I think this is actually a really good like character reimagining of Jill, because all of the games, even though she's in my top 2 Resident Evil characters, which is Jill and Leon. Well, the other person's Leon, I guess. But what I like about Jill is just, you know, she's like one of the OG characters, and I just like that she's, I don't know how to explain it, but what I hated about her throughout all these games is the fact that she's just very stoic and not really she's not really emotion filled at all. But so I like what they did with her here. Because realistically, if you look back at like Resident Evil 1 or Remake of the first game, she acts much older than she actually is. I mean, it might be just me, but I mean, they obviously got actors for her that were like 39, 40, but you know, she just didn't seem like her age. She seemed like she was 35 when she was really, what, like 23, 24 during both those games' events? This one and Resident Evil 1 Remake? Or just ordinary Resident Evil 1 and 3. But this game, I actually like how they changed her to have just a bit of a like more stubborn personality than in previous titles. Another character we could probably talk about is Carlos, and it's nice that he has the spotlight once again, because this would be the only game that he would ever be in. But I like what they did with Carlos. I think he was the reason why he didn't show up in any games after 3 was probably because of his annoying personality in the original. But I like what they did with him here. They made him a bit more less flirty and less cliche of a character. So that's nice. A lot of the characters, they did pretty good in this game. One example could be Mikhail Victor. There's a bunch of examples, but I'm going to go with this character. He seems a bit more fleshed out than he was in the original. I mean, yeah, I guess in the original he had a bit more screen time. I'm not sure, because I haven't completed Resident Evil 3 Nemesis myself, but he just seems a bit more of a realistic character. I like how they made him older than he was in the original, just giving the more veteran look to him, because he's pretty much the captain of the UBCS squad. Another character is Nikolai, who was pretty much your antagonist of this game, and I guess the original, obviously. He's more ruthless than he was in the original, and I just like how he's, like all characters, they're all more realistic, to be honest. Because in the original, they just seemed a bit too comical, if I'm pointing that out right. But either way, I like the way how they portrayed the characters in these games, these remakes so far. And I guess another topic we could talk about is obviously the gameplay. The gameplay of Resident Evil 3 Remake is almost the same as Resident Evil 2 Remake, obviously, because this came out only a year after that one. So they had to prioritize gameplay elements, what worked and what didn't. One feature they added in, and is arguably works a bit more better than the one in the original, is the quick step, or dodge if you'd be more, technical. I'm still not sure how exactly this works, but if you dodge at the right time, Joel will roll out of the way and will do like a bullet time effect where her fire rate is much faster, and to put it in simple terms, it has proven to be useful in a lot of different scenarios, especially when at the end of the game you get a STARS manual which will let you do this much easier. So yeah, this makes a lot of knife-only runs easier. I can see that now, but it's a very useful thing. I wish we had this in Resident Evil 2 Remake. That would make things much more easier. Because in Resident Evil 2 Remake, you're in a hallway, right? Okay, envision this. You're in a hallway, a couple zombies, and you already know you're going to get grabbed because you're going to think, okay, I'm going to run straight through that, but I don't want to waste any ammo. If you run through it, there's almost a guarantee that you're going to be bitten. Unless you have a defensive item, or if you're grabbed from the back, that could probably work in your favor. But there's a guarantee you're going to get bit and you're going to lose some health. In this game, you can easily just dodge out of the way, and there you go. I mean, there's obviously a chance that you won't dodge successfully, and you're kind of fucked in that department. But either way, the dodge is pretty useful if you know how to use it. And the story. Alright, I guess we go to the story right now. So the story of Resident Evil 3 Remake is... it's been kind of cut out in some ways. Because obviously they had to cut some stuff from the original to, I guess, have enough time to make the game before the deadline, I assume. So, for instance, some things were cut, like the park was cut, the whole clock tower section was cut. Granted, there is the clock tower section in the game, though at the same time, you never get to go inside it, you only fight near it with Nemesis Type 2. So, really, you don't get to see very much of the clock tower, they skipped a whole lot of sections, pretty much. And the story is pretty basic in a sense. I mean, most Resident Evils, the story is kind of not really the highest priority in these cases. So, I guess we'll go to the final verdict. What would I rate this game? Well, it's kind of bounced around a lot, but in my honest opinion, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Because just for reference, I would put Resident Evil 2 Remake at a 9.5 out of 10. It's definitely not as good as Resident Evil 2 Remake, but this game still holds its own as a remake. I still enjoyed it. You know, Nemesis was, you know, scary at times and all that. So just to wrap things up, if you're a Resident Evil fan, fine, go and get it. And if not, then, well, I'm not really sure why you buy the third game in the series if you haven't played any other Resident Evil games. So I'd recommend just looking into the lore first. Though, you know, I can't stop you. So guys, this has been my semi-review on Resident Evil 3. And I guess I'll talk about what I'm going to do, you know, after this. I've been thinking of doing maybe another Resident Evil series after Resident Evil 4, and I mean, to be honest, I still kind of regret not doing a Resident Evil 3 playthrough when I had the chance, but I don't know. I thought of doing this, you know, just to kind of run away from that, just, you know, playthrough thing. I want to do something different for this time, but I was thinking of maybe doing Code Veronica, because to be honest, that's probably going to be the next game that's going to be remade. Maybe not anytime soon. Probably not anytime soon, but it's definitely going to be the next remake. Or maybe they're going by number, and they're just going to make Resident Evil 4 next, which will be very... I actually want to see that, to be honest. I want to see what they do with the game, you know, if it has enough, like, development time. Because Resident Evil 4 is one of the bigger Resident Evil games. But, you know, I just kind of want to see that, so, I guess that's it. So I'll see you guys later whenever I figure out another playthrough, and see you guys in a bit.